is amazing in her own right. I just want you to say hi to her.
Hi, Kath. Great to see you.
She needs to be part of this. So, I know I feel a bit spoilt sitting here and someone's cleaning around me. So hello ladies, I'm Louise and I have the Goddess Health and Wellness Day spa on our lovely south coast at Ulladulla in New South Wales, and I'm very blessed to have a lovely husband and 6 children and 4 grandchildren and 3 cats. And I have been in the beauty and spa industry for around 30 years. My current business is about 16 years old, and it's on the other side of my country guest house here at Barua Lake. So all the girls are over there massaging and doing facials or whatever they're doing, running my business for me. And the other thing that I've been doing for the past 5 years is teaching internationally at all the most luxury iconic spas around the world. So through my lovely passion, somebody now pays me to travel the world to teach what I absolutely love and get paid to go to beautiful destinations. So I have to say I feel very blessed to have arrived at this point of time and look forward to sharing some of that with you all today.
Beautiful, Louise. Thank you. We have Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello. I had to quickly unmute. Thanks for that.
For people who missed your presentation this morning, could you tell us a bit about who you are and what it is that you do in your business?
Yeah, so my business is Rebecca Corbett, which is me. I stripped away all of the business trading names this year and stepped out in my own spotlight. So I am now a business specialist and zero trainer. So I specialize in setting up all of the technology and programs around your accounting programs so that they all talk to each other. So a bit of automation and business strategy. So making sure that the tech that you choose and the way that you're going meets your business strategy. And I had a bookkeeping firm for 5 years, which is where my strong financial background comes from.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. And we have Lynda. Hi, Lynda. How are you?
I'm terrific, thank you. So I am Lynda Pedder. I have a business called Poppy's Chocolate, and I have been operating this business for 15 years, and we have had to pivot numerous times with this business. We started out mainly as a wholesale business, but I also started a cafe back in 2005, which I eventually sold. I now have another cafe, which I said I'd never ever do a cafe again, but for some reason I did. And we thought that was the end of it with COVID. We closed for a while, but reopened, and we're actually doing way better than last year with that. And our business pretty much has mainly gone online since COVID, and we've just had record sales again this month, and our business is totally transformed, which has been amazing. And I've got 3 children, and my oldest just turned 18. Yay!
Amazing. Your eldest has just turned 18. That's very exciting.
It's, I nicknamed him Evil Knievel when he was about 14 months old. And at 7, I decided that my main goal was just that he stays alive till he's 18, and then I've done my job, right? Gave up on all the educated, successful stuff, we're just keep him alive. So he made it, which is fantastic.
Your work here is done. Thanks, Lynda. And Yona. Hi, Yona. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Yona Signo, and I'm the owner of Kaya Services. So Kaya in Tagalog means can. We can do, and so we're trying to bring that forward to when we help out with local businesses. So what we try to help out with is helping business owners improving efficiency, as well as increasing profit through the power of outsourcing and delegating to virtual assistants. So but something that's really exciting for me is that my my eldest just turned 4 yesterday. So, and I've got my almost 2-year-old in 2 weeks. So I don't know how I do this every day, but I'm here. And it's really exciting that this book is really aligned to the experiences I'm going through, because really at the end of the day, you really have to back yourself. So it's, thank you. I feel so inspired to be amongst all of you inspiring ladies.
Thank you. It's wonderful to have you here. So I'd love to now have a chat with each of you about your chapter and what the message was that you were wanting to get across, the main message in your chapter. So we'll go to you first, Louise Lugg, and I'd love to hear about what you wrote about and the message, the main message that you had for women. You're on mute, Louise.
There you go. Is that better?
Thank you. Yes.
First of all, I think my ear things might go in a minute, but anyway, we'll see how we go. I feel honoured and thank you for asking me to be in the book. I actually felt I wasn't good enough. But anyway, when I started writing, I realised I had so many stories inside me from the past 30 years and absolutely fell in love with the topic that was handed to me, which was Beyond Your Passions, How to Have a Healthy Business. And I've always been saying that one day I'm going to write a book called How Not to Run Your Business. That's going to be my title. I think I'll still write that book because my chapter, I ran out of words very quickly. So I realized that that topic is everything starts with your passion for something that you love to do, something that you've dreamed about. But if you don't have a healthy business or know how to run a business, the whole thing's going to fall apart. And so throughout my chapter, I've got my 5 sections, which I was able to easily address. If I don't mind me telling my 5 topics, the first one was, what is your passion? So I got to talk about what is my passion, and having the hands and the heart for my spa and beauty business and just loving people and being Louise to please for many years. And the second part was stop running a charity, charging your worth and imposter syndrome. So that was that part. And the next part was boss or mum. Stop treating my staff like I'm their mother. Grow up and learn to be a good boss. And so I had some good stories about that. The next one was from beautician to businesswoman, how to learn to do the financials and the business side. You know, I didn't know how to do a business course. I just knew how to be a great beautician and treat people beautifully, but I didn't know how to run a business. So that was a good story. And the last part was taking my passion globally around the world, how I stepped that up, and through charity and community, embracing those elements. So I actually thoroughly enjoyed writing my chapter.
Thanks, Louise. I'd love to dive deeper into that topic of boss or mum. What do you mean by that?
Well, because I had 6 children, I felt I was absolutely qualified to treat everyone like I'm their mum. And I actually do that to our clients, which is really quite a comforting angle to be a reassuring and sort of guide people which way to put their G-string on, or which end of the massage bed to, Nicole's laughing, which end of the massage bed to hop on, you know, to help guide people without making them feel silly. So for many years, you know, I felt that I owed the world to my staff because it was all on my shoulders, of course, when I first started. Being the queen of the pashmina, Brazilian waxing champion of the South Coast, and nobody else wanted anyone else, none of my clients wanted anyone else to touch their pashmina. And I had too many clients and I needed to have staff who could actually do what I do. And so when I started having that happen, I felt that I owed them the world, that I owed them everything. And so I became extra giving, extra kind. I got too involved in their lives. I was just being their mum. And I've had a lot of things. People, if I can share a quick story about it, one of the stories in the book, I had a girl called Louise who worked for me. And when she left this large phone bill. And I actually chased down and got her mum. And she said, I can't even believe Louise got that job when she had that overseas holiday booked. And I went, what? She came to work and told me she won first prize in a lottery and won a holiday to America. I was really pregnant with one of my children, and she told me she won the holiday. So I let her go on this holiday that she booked, and she lied to me. Woo.
Yes, well, that's yeah. So you learned a lesson from that, though, Louise, and that's now kept you in, in a better position going forward.
Yeah, well, look, it's big time now. Many years on, I've now hardly working hands-on in my business. I've got 7 staff. They're running my business beautifully with or without me. And I'm not their mum, but we have a beautiful culture of love and respect. And a little hint is doing a check-in every day. It takes about 2 minutes. And each of us get a chance to say, on a physical, mental, and spiritual or emotional, how do you feel? So today I feel physically really well. I'm not tired. Emotionally, I'm really happy and excited to be here today. And spiritually, I feel really connected to you all. And so each of our staff members get to do a quick check-in like that. So we know, starting out the day, how everyone really is feeling. And then we do, well, when we think about it, we check out at the end of the day. So that's about as far as I'll dive in with the girls, and much healthier.
That's really beautiful, and that's a lovely way to create a culture within the team as well.
Thank you.
So you talked about going global and traveling overseas with your business. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Definitely. So many people say to me, how did you get that job? How do you get paid to go to the Maldives and get put up in an overwater villa and go and teach massage in the spa? If someone told me this 20 years ago when I was raising 6 kids, I would have laughed and went, get out of here. That's not going to happen to me. So I have to say how that happened was, first of all, I didn't stop educating and doing courses. Because I didn't think I was good enough, I kept learning and training. But the biggest part was I felt that I was in the corner of my world, doing my own thing, making it all up. And I craved to meet like-minded people who could grow and empower me, because I felt like the biggest imposter in the world. So I joined the Australasian Spa Association, and my husband said, why are you doing that? You're already successful. And I said, but I need to. So I went along. I felt really, oh my gosh, and I met amazing people like Kirian Withers, the big spa guru, and Michelle Reeve from Water Lily, and a heap of amazing people who saw me. They saw me. They recognized me and took me under their wing and grew me and gave me confidence. And that's where...
You're still there? Sorry. That's where I met Farida Arani from Subtle Energies and started my relationship and training with them. And through all of that, they asked me to come on board as an international trainer for them.
That's amazing. And so those opportunities came out of the connections that you'd made.
Through the networking and through joining things like this and through meeting people.
And it's all about putting yourself out there. And sometimes that can be scary, connecting to new people. Did you feel scared when you first went to that first event and you didn't know anyone else?
100%. And sounds really silly. Maybe Nicole might understand. Initially, I thought beauty and spa, it's going to be full of a lot of really bitchy people who look too beautiful, and they're not going to be I thought, but no, just like you're at the collective of women, just loving, beautiful women who are all in the same boat. So I was intimidated and scared, but I hid that. I faked it till I made it.
I'm so glad that you did. It went on to then lead to so many more connections and opportunities and experiences for you.
And if I can say what I love now, as I've been in business for 30 years, the business has come a long way, and I love now that I'm stepping back as hands-on, and I'm getting to share my story and teach with love, no fear, empower and grow other people to be amazing. And what's been fantastic is through my own business, it's worked. They're fantastic and they're doing really great, and I don't have to be there.
That's fantastic, Louise. You've really, it sounds like you've come so far from where you started, the business created now, and you're really helping other women now too.
Absolutely. You don't think, I remember going to a spa conference and yelling out at the top of my voice, how do you girls get the time? You know, I've got 6 kids, I'm trying to run a business, I don't know how to say no, I'm exhausted. I was waiting for someone to rescue me. But I had to rescue me myself. I had to do it. I had to say no and manage my family and you know, the big juggle. And it's lovely to get to this point of my life, and I'm realizing I've got the fruit of my hard work now. Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning lots. And the biggest turning point 5 years ago, when Subtle Energies asked me to leave my business and every 6 weeks travel the world for 2 or 3 weeks at a time and leave my business could have fallen in a heap because I wasn't there. They could have stole from me. The whole thing could have fallen apart. But even my accountant 5 years on has said, Louise, you're not there and your business has grown. I was like, oh my God, I did it. I stepped back, grew my staff, and now even this year, we've grown 300% turnover. And I'm not in the room. Yes.
That's amazing. And
it's great.
Congratulations. You've obviously built a business where the people who work with you, just they know what to do. They're doing the right thing by the clients. And built a really great culture.
Yeah, hands and heart. And look, there's definitely a book I will put together about all things you shouldn't do. And my chapter's full of, if I could say something to myself and send it back in time, that's what my chapter's all about. And it's parts of everything all of these lovely women are saying, sort of all put in together.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
It wasn't easy, even though I'm going, oh, it's all good now.
It's all about backing yourself though, isn't it?
Yes, it's all about backing yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you, Louise. Nicola, hello.
Hello.
Hi. And Nicola today is wearing a dress by the same designer that I'm wearing, by Samantha in Melbourne.
It's actually a top. And thank you for sharing where you got yours dressed from, because I love it. It's so comfortable. And yeah, it's great that we can support other Australian businesses. That's awesome.
And it's your signature red lips.
It sure is. And my nails.
Beautiful. So Nicola, I'd love to hear about your chapter and tell everybody what you wrote about and what was the message behind what you shared.
Certainly. Thank you so much to you and Katie, firstly, for the opportunity, and being surrounded with so many awesome women is just so empowering. And I can, listening to today's festival, I can see how so many of our values, you know, intertwine. So that's obviously validation that we're the right group of women to be working together. So my chapter is something I feel really passionate about. It's called Community Over Competition. And I believe we're all Wonder Woman. You know, we're strong, we're powerful, we're creators of life. But what I believe is collectively we're unstoppable. And I really think in, let's say, 2020/21, it's really time that women, you know, drop this kind of facade of I want to be better than you and, you know, breaking other women down. I really believe we need to come together and uplift and encourage each other. And that's one of the reasons I love being part of the Oz Mum group, because everybody, although we're from different industries, except Louise and myself, which I can resonate with a lot of her stories, it's so nice to connect. And, you know, even if you're not as outgoing as some of us in this group, there's so much to learn from other women. If you just took a breath, took a step back, got out of your own way and listened to other people, you would learn so much. And in my chapter is really about support and empowering each other. And I love to empower women every single day, make women feel and look amazing and be the best versions of themselves. And my first part of my chapter is proximity equals power, and it's about finding your tribe and really working out who resonates with your values and who you want to surround yourself with ultimately. And I'm a big believer in finding someone who's doing what you are wanting to do and asking them how they did that. And certainly as being a leader in my industry, I'm always open to other salon owners, you know, coming to me and saying, hey, that was a great promotion, or how did you do that, or how did you win that award? We in therapy is 20 this year, and we've won a lot of awards, and it's all because we're just being ourselves. And I'm going to be speaking in the next segment about being uniquely you, and I'm going to deep dive and kind of go more into how to do that. But so we're talking about surrounding yourself with like-minded people who inspire you. We're also talking about being uniquely you and not being afraid to go against the grain and the crowd, because it is scary and you got to get ready for people not to always like you. And that's been a real struggle for me. I'm a people pleaser. But you know what? If you're going to be successful and you're going to have a voice, then you need to be prepared that people aren't going to like you. And that's fine. They say there's always 10 people in the room. Or 9 people, whatever the saying is, there's 3 that are going to love you, 3 that are going to be like, who the hell are you? And 3 they're going to be like, no, not for me. And that's fine. So you need to get comfortable around that. I also talk about staying in your lane and avoiding distraction, which has been huge for me. And just staying focused. And you know, I'm a big one of you do you and I'll do me, and kind of not being taken away. I also talk about my favorite topic is analysis paralysis, just doing nothing because of fear of doing the wrong thing. And it's so sad that so many people every day are waking up and living an average life, and whatever that looks like to them, and going to a job that they don't like because they're afraid of just taking the next step and afraid of just embracing their dreams. It's really quite sad, actually. So I'm hoping my stories can empower other women to just, you know, back yourself, believe in yourself, and just go for it regardless of what other people think of you, because you can't control that. But the most important thing is that you believe in yourself. And that's a really tough lesson. But if you can wrap your head around that, then you know, you're ahead. And then the last thing I like to talk about is celebrating wins and the impact of awards and recognitions, how that is perceived to your guests, to your team, but also just in business. I feel it's so important, and we don't do it, is stop and celebrate the small wins. You know, we can't, and especially if you're an overachiever, like I know most of us are, you kind of go into the next thing, you don't stop and go, whoa, this was awesome. Let's just take a minute and reflect on what just happened right here. And being an entrepreneur, you know, we keep going forward and forward, but I think it's really important. And I know a couple of the other ladies spoke about that today, is just stopping and just going, okay, let's just digest what happened and then slow down and move forward. So I'm really hoping I can inspire some women. Of course, you all know I'm the red lipstick, and the thing for me with the red lipstick is when I put a bright, doesn't have to be red, although my preference is red, you feel like you're putting on a superhero cape, and you can transform into anybody you want, and you can be that Wonder Woman. And my aim and mission is to inspire as many women to go out and buy a red lippy, because it's, you know, when I was younger, I wore a lot of nude colors, and for me, the way I interpret it is that that was me hiding behind my real self. And, you know, my mom, funny enough, she's the real red lipstick person in my life. But I tell the story of when I was 6, I knew I was going to be a beauty therapist, and I went with my mom and she used to wax her legs in this little cubicle in a pharmacy back in South Africa, where I'm from. And I used to look up at these Estee Lauder and Clinique women, and they all looked so old, but they're probably my age now. And just looked up and said, wow, you know, that's going to be me one day. And that is me now. And I really believe I'm turning, I've still got a lot of way to go, but turning into the best version of myself and doing what I'm meant to be, and that's inspire other women to find their way. So yeah, I'm really excited to be part of this book. I've always wanted to write a book, but the limiting belief, I'm not good enough, and we're all familiar with that. And we're going to talk about that in the next seminar.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, because I was going to dive deeper now with you on analysis paralysis. And I think, you know, that happens. Katie and I experience that as well. We're like, okay, we want to do this and this and this, but is this going to be the right thing to do? Should we do this? And all that indecision can stop us then from moving forward. And I think sometimes that indecision is from fear.
100%.
What do you think?
And I certainly believe that. And a lot of that fear is what other people are going to think about you, and judgment. And as women, we're really tough on each other. I mean, on ourselves, sorry, and sometimes each other. That's why it's so good to, and what I love about our group is just encouraging everybody. But that analysis paralysis, when you're in that, like, oh my gosh, I kind of like shut down. What I've done is I put my jazz music on and I just take a breath, and I'm like, okay, what can I control right now? What can I do now to move one step forward? What's really important is to keep that momentum going. Just put one foot in front of the other. And even if you're not sure if you're, you know, doing the right thing, doing something is better than doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to my story of how sad it is, how people are just doing their 9-to-5 job and not living their dream life, or doing what they really want to do because they're afraid. Mm. So fear is a really big and real thing, you know, it's breaking through that fear.
And I feel like this book is going to, this book's going to be really important for inspiring women to just back themselves and go for it and follow their dreams. Like, don't get stuck doing the safe thing and doing the 9-to-5 and playing small. Back yourself and go big.
Yeah, and I believe as long as you're kind, you know, and you just stay like in your lane, because once you start getting distracted, I'm sure Louise can resonate in our industry and working predominantly with women, it can get really bitchy and really competitive, and our space is really flooded. So by finding out, like, we're going to talk about why you stand out and just staying in your lane and just doing your thing and not being distracted by everybody around you is super, super important. And I'm sure other industries can resonate with that as well. But the main thing about my chapter is really, as women, let's stand together. Let's not break each other down. What happened to that? It takes a village to raise a child, right? Like, why aren't women collaborating and supporting and helping each other? Why is it that kind of fight for who's better? And why can't we all just be the best versions of ourselves and all be different? And I'm a big one. There's a lot of salons around me, but if I run out of a product, I'll refer a guest to someone else, and we call and work together, because there's enough clients, or like I like to say, guests, for everybody. We just need to stop and realize that and support each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Nicola. Yeah. There's enough room for all of us. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
now,
a pleasure.
I'd love to go to Lynda now. Hey, Lynda, tell us what you wrote about in your chapter.
Okay, well, my chapter mainly focuses on pivoting your business. And having had Poppy's Chocolate for 15 years, I've had to pivot a lot. And interesting listening to Louise talking about what not to do. I've done all the what not to do's too. And it's kind of almost like it takes 10 to 15 years to actually learn what you should be doing. So that's not actually in my chapter, but really that's one of the things is, you know, when you feel really impatient and you wonder, particularly if you're a mum and you wonder, you feel like I should be more successful than this. I should have achieved more than this. I should be doing better than this. I'm a smart person. I understand business, why aren't I rich? Just to put it simply, why aren't I doing really well? Why am I, still got all these debts, or I'm still struggling? And the reality is, a lot of us, particularly if we're mums, have other priorities, and we don't have 12 hours a day we can absolutely focus on our business and do as well as we possibly could. So part of it's just accepting that in the first place. But one of the things that I did a number of years ago was become very decisive. I just decided I was going to be decisive. And not long after I made that decision, I almost went into business with this guy who was extremely indecisive. He would change his mind he'd go, okay, we're going to do this. And then the next day, I was looking at this overnight. No, I think I'll do that. And it was such a challenge for me, because I was going, well, I've just decided to be really decisive. And now I'm working with this super indecisive person. And we didn't end up going to business together, thankfully. But Nicola just said, not be decisive, but doing something's better than doing nothing. And that's exactly my philosophy, is just be decisive. If it's the wrong decision, then you can make a different decision later on. But at least you've made a decision. Otherwise, we were talking about paralysis analysis. You can just get stuck and not actually move forward. So that is really critical in being able to pivot your business if you're going along. And this year's been super challenging for everybody. For us, it looked devastating. It was devastating for us back in March and April. We lost 90% of our wholesale business. We were mainly a wholesaler, but we also have a cafe, and we had another retail store, and we've got a store here in our factory as well. And so we had to close the pop-up retail store we closed our cafe a week before Easter. Now, we're a chocolate business. Closing a week before Easter is pretty dire. And we had about 5 stores worth of chocolates, Easter eggs, and I just went, how the hell am I going to sell all this? And fortunately, we had just set up an online store in November. Now, up until March, we had literally done 17 sales online. That was it. And I think on the weekend, we did nearly 100 online sales in a day. So we just blew away all our online records, achieved what a year ago I would not have thought was possible at all. So I'm jumping all over the place because there's just a lot to sort of say, and it's all very exciting at the moment. I'm busy at work because we're trying to get all these orders out. And I like Louise talking about not working in the business now. Well, I keep going like this. So I'm not working in the business, then I do some marketing and stuff, and then everything takes off and I have to jump back in and help them. So that's, that pivoting your business is, we literally went from, in March, April, just business, just like absolutely slammed. It looked really dire. We had 18 staff at the time. We put 10 off, and the rest, half of them were just sort of on JobKeeper. We had about 4 people coming into work, and that was it. I've now currently got 22 staff. So it's just that being really decisive and working bloody hard. Like, you don't achieve these things without working hard. You can't pivot your business without actually working hard. You work smart as well, but it just doesn't happen through luck. So one of the reasons I was really quick to make decisions when the pandemic, if affected us or was back in with the GFC, I was not quick to make decisions, and I suffered for years. I lost a lot of money in a business that I just kind of hung on to. We had 2 cafes at the time that we were planning to franchise, and franchises were just ripped to shreds. And I look back and I just sort of shut down. So this time I just went, I'm happy to close the cafe. I told the shopping centre I was closing, I'm done, I'm finished. And they turned around and a couple of months later and said, look, will you reconsider? We really want you to stay. So we restructured the way our managers work. We got an extra manager in, we put them on profit share and a base rate. And we're doing about 30% more than last year. And they're happy because they're getting more money. And it took, a few people we tried as managers, they just couldn't get it in their head that they were going to get extra money. So all they went on about was how little their base rate was. And they were like, I'm working for this much an hour, I could get this much on Job Seeker. And luckily they're getting more than Job Seeker, but they were like, it's only $5 more than Job Seeker. And I'm like, but you're going to get a bonus. And the more you do well, the more that is. And so we finally, my manager has stayed with me for 2 years, and we've got another person on who finally kind of gets it. I think she gets it now after she got her bonus for October, but she was wondering why on earth she got so much money. And so things are going really well there, but that was hard, that mindset, people who aren't in business, people who don't have that business mindset, that employee mindset. We just struggled with getting another manager that actually could understand we're going to pay you base plus a profit share. And, so you've got all those things, and we almost gave up on that idea actually because we just couldn't seem to get the message across to the staff, the people that we were hiring, but we seem to have it now and it's really doing really well. So I think that was my big monologue.
Gosh, it sounds like you've had a huge year.
It's been amazing.
From just only launching your online store late last year to now, like all of your sales are going through the online store.
Yeah.
Like you've completely changed your whole business model, really.
Yeah.
And from losing more than half of your staff, you went from 18 down to 8. Now you're back up to 22. Like those kind of changes are massive.
Mm. It's been really extraordinary. One of the biggest things, aside from deciding to go online, that I did was I had to get out of my comfort zone and be vulnerable and start putting lots of videos up. So if you look at our Facebook page, which is Poppy's Chocolate, you'll see I do videos a lot, and I video all our team making chocolates. There's some people who are really happy to be in the videos and some just run away. But I just had to go, look, I've got nothing to lose. And I've been watching other people and other mentors and how they do things, and finding out one particular person I was watching, finding out that they hated doing videos as well. I thought, well, if they hate videos and they do these good videos and that's how they're doing well, I just have to get over myself and do it. So it's kind of get over yourself and back yourself at the same time, because that whole, and it's just, our generation, we're not used to, it takes a while to get used to this whole, I'm going to put myself on a bloody selfie. But now, people seem to love my videos, and it's really funny. People go, oh, I could just watch you eat chocolate. It makes me want to eat chocolate. And I think, really? That's like, I just have to eat chocolate. That's all I had to do all this time. And it makes you want to eat chocolate and you buy it. Okay, sure. I'll keep doing that. That works. So they're my big things is, being really decisive and really getting out of your comfort zone. And I guess also one of the things I wrote in my chapter was not waiting for the white knight, because every time you wait for the white knight and all you get is knaves. And so, finally given up on that whole concept of just got to, back myself and do it myself. That's how you get stuff done. And trusting your own decisions, I think, a lot as well is really, really important.
Mm. Yeah, amazing. And yeah, you're right. No one's coming to save you. You've got to do it yourself. You've got to make those decisions. Yeah. And you've completely changed your business from what it was. You've spent 15 years, probably 14 years running your business in that way. And then this year, it's a completely different, brand new business of online. And online marketing and video and social media and completely different things. But yeah, you've had to do that and keep going. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's actually become more fun too. Like, even though it's still a lot of work, I think I'm really, really enjoying my business now for the first time in a really long time. I did originally start the business with my now ex-husband, and he disappeared in, I don't know, 2012 or something. So then I was left with 3 kids and a business to try and run. And certainly that had tons and tons of challenges, especially he moved, 2 hours away. So never helped really. Still doesn't much. And that's just him, just accept that, and can't change other people. That's just how they are. So, and so many people say, I think one of the things as women is we can't actually see ourselves in the mirror and see how well we're doing. It takes other people to go, wow, like, you are doing an amazing job. That's just extraordinary what you have achieved. And even now I still go, like, really? It doesn't seem like that big a deal. But most people will say, I couldn't do it, or I couldn't work as hard as you do. So it's good when you're in a good group of people who can reinforce that, because as a boss, as a business owner, nobody tends to tell you you're doing a good job. Your staff, you've got to tell your staff all the time they're doing a good job, but they rarely tell you. Like my head chocolatier, who's been with me for 4 years, she's really good. She says thank you to me all the time, and thank you for saving our business and our jobs, and she really understands it and gets it. But not a lot of people do understand that. So I think one of the things that also made a big difference for me is a year ago, I formed a women's mastermind of just other business women. There's like 10 of us. And that we just meet online once a month, but just having that support and knowing other business women who have the same mindset. It's often amongst our friends, the other women that are our friends don't necessarily have that business mindset. They're not interested in being an entrepreneur or growing a business. So it was really pivotal for me to actually start connecting with other women who have that mindset, and change my own mindset as well at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important to surround yourself with other entrepreneurs and people on the journey. It's really important.
Yes, definitely.
Wow. Well, thank you, Lynda. It sounds like it's been an incredible year for you, and congratulations on successfully transforming your business.
Thank you.
Do you mind me telling you something, Lynda, quickly?
Yeah.
I saw you online with your chocolates, and I quickly bought 48 hot chocolate sticks for my day spa because of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think they would be good gift with purchases when people buy a gift voucher, a hot chocolate stick. But we ate a lot of them too.
Yeah, it's so funny, the hot chocolate one, right? Because we nearly discontinued that product last year. And I came in one day, my chocolatier said, right, you're doing a video. Like, she just sat me down and stuck me in a corner. She had the hot cup ready, and we just took this video, and we sold like 6,000 of them. And it was we just couldn't keep up with them. And people like you were like, wow, this person's ordered 50, but this person's ordered 100. So it was just really mind-blowing. I think that's when we really saw, wow, this actually works. And it really just was a spur of the moment video. I think I'd never edited a video before that. And it just went so amazingly well that we just know if we stick something on video, it's just going to sell. It's incredible. And Facebook marketing is pretty cool. But I've been fortunate that my cousin is a Facebook marketing expert in the US. And so he's really helped me with that too, which has been amazing.
So good.
Thanks, Louise.
Okay, Yona, how are you? I'd love to hear about your chapter and what your message was.
Hi. Yeah, this again, thank you, Peace and Katie, for your community. It's this is definitely an opportunity that I did not think that I would ever have. So this has been definitely a crazy time. So but thankful. Well, my chapter is about being resourceful. So it's all about resourcefulness. And going through this journey has actually allowed me to reflect on my own personal experience as well as my work experience. So, yes, I do have this business on, Kaya services so virtual assistants for business. However, in the beginning, I was in tech support. So, a lot of people go, oh, okay, that's, completely different. But at the same time, it's when you really think about it, like a lot of the skills and the values that I have came from that time. And so it's really about creativity in problem solving. And so I really focused around that particular topic because I think, many of us as humans, when we're faced with challenges or problems or anything like that, we tend to forget, that we do have many blessings in our life. That there are so many things that surrounds us that can actually help us keep going and keep moving forward, particularly in business. So for the woman who thinks, oh I want to start this particular business in whatever it is, like for me, like in outsourcing or in virtual assistants, I'm like, oh, where would I begin with this? And so I guess the first thing that I focused on was really about your why. I was inspired by Simon Sinek's Why and how, people really connect with why you do what you do as opposed to that particular product or the particular service. And, it's just really about that genuine passion that you have for your business. And, when you bring that message through and you're clear about it, it kind of comes down, it actually, everything that you do, you can choose to, like, it rolls up to your why. So, your goals, like your vision, and also just, I've got so many things I want to say, but I'm getting a bit excited, but yeah. And then going through the process of, it's like almost my chapter is like a mini workshop. So I'm really trying to get the reader to almost do like a checklist for themselves while they're reading the chapter. So, thinking about like doing their own personal stock take. So what are their own skills that they already have? Because, sometimes we don't even look at the amazing skills that we have already, or our experience, where that has taken us to today. And so, just those reminders of just our blessings and how that will really bring us forward. And so, it's really being creative and just being thankful and grateful. I think, when I was listening to the ladies speaking, it's just, I was like nodding my head a lot because it really resonated with me. Like I wish that I had this book before I had started. So this is a really great opportunity for the women who are, thinking of starting a business, or, just like contemplating, or they're there like in the beginning. Like this is so amazing. Like, to already have women who've gone there. But with that said, though, I'm still learning myself. So this is amazing for me because I get to learn from these inspiring women around me. So yeah, that's just mine in a quick nutshell, but it's pretty much like a mini workshop through a chapter.
Yeah, amazing. And I think, you're talking about resourcefulness. I think it's one of the most important things that you need to have as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
For a lot of women who are starting businesses, they don't have a whole lot of capital behind them. And I know for Katie and I, we didn't have, $100,000 behind us starting our business. And so it meant that we had to be really clever and creative and resourceful with what we did have to be able to get our business off the ground in the first place. And then as we've grown it as well. So can you tell us about, your experience with resourcefulness?
Yeah, sure. So in the beginning, like I mentioned, so I actually went through this process of deciding whether or not I should start a business when my daughter was about to turn 1. So I thought to myself, you know, am I going to go back to the corporate world, or should I start something that, you know, plays onto my strengths and my expertise? And so that was in IT, in project management and service management. And so I thought, okay, you know what? I really enjoy helping people and, you know, completing those projects, completing tasks. And so I thought, you know, for myself that I'd like to start off like working from home so I could watch my baby girl grow up and, like, you know, do those fun things, like, you know, taking them to the play center and doing those fun activities. And so that's when I started as a virtual assistant. But then I had no idea about like all of these other things that you needed to do, like, you know, in tax, in, you know, the business structure, all of that. And it was really overwhelming. Like I really was like, oh, okay, it's not as straightforward as I thought. But with that said, though, you know, we're in an era where information and data is literally at our fingertips. Like we've got, you know, we've got our smartphones now where we can actually look it up. So, you know, we've got, and thankfully we've got, you know, resources online where we can actually look those, you know, what type of company structures or what, you know, all of these things. And also there are experts around us. So, you know, there were also things like, you know, Rebecca, I'm sure you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When I was like, bookkeeping, what is that? What do I have to, where do I start with that, you know? So, and like, to know that you have experts around you and there are resources and online resources that you can read when you're breastfeeding, when you can read while you're, you know, doing some mum things, because a lot of the times that, you know, we think, oh, as a mum, I won't be able to do that. But we can actually do these things. Like we can read up on stuff while we're doing, you know, we can multitask, right? And so it was really about, I didn't want to, I wanted to be in that place where I wasn't discounting the fact that I didn't know these things. So my husband has been pivotal in that. He'd always say to me, no, it's like, because I always be like, oh, I don't know about that stuff. I don't know about this legal things. I don't know about this tax or bookkeeping, accounting and all of that. And he's like, that's okay. And he was literally like, he'd be like, yeah, that's okay. Just look it up or reach out to whoever. Because, you know, you'd have friends in our own circle of friends. We'd have friends who are experts at those things. And then, or they might know somebody, or you have a community like this community where we can actually call on. You can even get peace. I need help with X, Y, Z. Do you know somebody? You know, and so it was really that process. And from there, that gave me the courage to keep moving forward. And so, you know, it came to the point where I was like, oh, okay, okay, I think I could do this. I can do this. Oh, I can. And so, yeah, it was just about, again, it's, you know, as cliche as it is, I really had to back myself. I really did. I really had to, you know, have a look and just think, yes, okay, I can. And there are people around me who are more than happy to help me. And, you know, it's one of those things where I had to stop assuming that, you know, like I was always the kind of person that if I didn't know something, I'd always put my hand up. But, you know, sometimes you kind of go, oh, I don't want to sound silly by asking this question. But a lot of the people who are experts in their field actually love those questions being asked, right? Because they are passionate about those particular topics. So they do want to share. So, and I mean, you know, like respectfully of their time as well. And so, yeah, that's been quite a journey, but I really, really do think that, you know, you may feel like you don't have enough, but gosh, you are more than enough. Like there is so many things that, there's so many blessings in your life. There's so many things that's happened that you can move forward. So yeah, that's my story.
Oh, I love that. And I love that message that, you know, it's okay, whatever it is that you need, you can find that, you can get help, you can look it up and research it. You can reach out to other people who are around you to help you. And no matter what challenge you're facing, there's always a way to get through that and get that help that you need.
Exactly.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Rebecca, hello.
Hi again.
Hi. So tell us about what was the message that you wanted to get across through your chapter?
So my chapter is titled Resilience Through Personal Crisis. And with my business, I didn't have a lot of support from my then husband. So I was completely on my own, no capital. It was a side gig to my day job. So thank goodness I had a little bit of money there to keep me going, and it grew very quickly, and I had to resign from my day job. I became a contractor to them, and 6 years later, I'm still contracting to them. So that's when I started my bookkeeping business. And through the time that I had my business, my first employee tried to poach my clients. 2 days later, I got hit by a car and damaged my shoulder. That was in June, which is end of financial year. So as a bookkeeper, hell time. So I ended up with enough clients for 2 full-time bookkeepers with just myself and a 3-year-old son, and pepped up on painkillers. But I made a really nice profit that year. And so I used that profit to lease my own office space. Up until then, I'd been sharing an office space. So I leased my own office space, signed a 12-month lease, and 3 months later, my then husband decided that we were done. And I left with the dog in the debt. So I found myself with this office space that I had to sell all of the furniture that was in it to be able to buy beds for my children to sleep in. I had to cancel the internet that was there because I had internet there and at home. And basically this office sat empty. And it wasn't until 6 months later, I put up a post on Facebook that I would pay your first 2 months of your rent if you took over my lease, that I actually got rid of it. And I should have done that earlier. The house that I moved into, they cut through the internet wire out the front of my house and spent 4 months fixing it. So I used mobile data end of financial year there must be something about end of financial year with me. Mobile data, which cost me a bucket ton. It cost me more in mobile data than I made just to work for my clients. Eventually I pulled it back and rebuilt and regained more clients and found a different solution for an office space, and grew it enough to be able to sell it. And in that time, I had the option when I separated from my husband and lost the office and lost the staff that I had. I lost a lot of clients because I wasn't giving the right care that I should have for my clients. I made a lot of mistakes because I was just so tired. I had the option then that I could have closed up shop and gone on welfare and made more money on welfare as a single mum, which thankfully we have that option in our country. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted my children to see me do what I wanted to do, and I wanted the opportunity to give them more. And finding work in our tiny rural town inside of school hours is really difficult. And I'm like I said this morning, I'm stubborn. I didn't want to let it go. So I had to find a way to make all of that work. And it was a lot on my plate at once. The rental house that I moved into, the front door didn't lock properly. The garage electronic door didn't open, which was an important thing for me as a single mum, to be able to drive in and have an electric door shut. Silly things like the dishwasher didn't work, and I had to hand wash dishes. It was taking me an extra 45 minutes in my day to hand wash the bloody dishes. But I had all of these things at the same time. And what I did was, what got me through was every morning I would wake up and I had 5 things, and I would think, okay, this problem, can I do anything that will solve this problem or get me closer to solving it today? No? Then stop worrying about it. This problem, can I do anything to get me closer today? And so on and so forth through my fingers. And eventually I would hit one that I'd go, well, I could call this person, or I could email the property manager and get them to tell the tradie to hurry up and get my quote. Or I could do none of that and take a day and rest because I was ill with adrenal fatigue. So taking that concept of you can eat an entire elephant if you take it one bite at a time was the thing that kept me alive, kept my kids alive, and kept my business alive.
What an amazing story, Rebecca. Just, yeah, incredible. And how you turned it around. And now, you know, you're running your business and so confident, and you've learnt so many lessons along the way.
And I wrote a book. Well, a chapter in a book. Like, if I had have given up then, I don't think I would have had the energy in me to open my second business that I did. I think I would have gone back into the employment trap and probably never came back.